snow in 2 years from a single event. And with the cold, the snow didn't go anywhere yesterday. Yes, it was nice and bright and sunny, and you looked outside, and then you went outside, and you're like, whoa, it was cold. And our visible satellite from yesterday actually allows us to see that snow cover. Since there really wasn't much in the way of cloud cover, everything white that you're seeing here is snow cover from the upstate of South Carolina, western North Carolina. Some of this is sleet, but even so, we've got all across North Carolina, a lot of you are dealing with snow cover on your, not just your grass, but your driveways are still frozen, your roads are still frozen if they weren't clear and if salt and brine wasn't put down. Now, with those cold temperatures, the commute is still going to be an issue this morning. Raleigh, you're at 10, you just dropped another degree. Atlanta, you're in the 20s. Nashville in the 20s. Jacksonville, 31 degrees. Wind chill is still a factor. Your first wind chill advisory in about 2 years, Jacksonville. So, yes, it's chilly. Pensacola, fountains were freezing yesterday. That's how cold it was. But it's going to warm up. So today is our transition day. Nashville, we finally are going to go above freezing for the first time in about 4 days. In fact, we go right up to 40s today in Nashville, and then we'll just keep that going this week. The pattern's going to change. The dip in the jet stream, that goes away. A ridge takes over as the main weather pattern across really the eastern 2/3 of the country. So this is going to warm us up. Temperatures not just to average, but soaring above average. And in Texas, you might see a couple of record high temperatures this week. Now, in Nashville, we're going to the 60s by Wednesday. Atlanta to 70 degrees by the time Thursday hits. Look at Charleston. Look at Raleigh. I mean, you're 10 degrees right now, but by Thursday, you're going to be in the upper 60s. Yes, the snow will be going away pretty quickly, pretty easily, but it'll take some time. I mean, tomorrow morning, we're still sub-freezing all across North Carolina and into a lot of South Carolina. By Wednesday, everyone's back to above freezing all day long and all night long, too. And by Thursday, you'll have forgotten all about the cold and the ice. In the Northeast, a little harder to forget, Kelly, because we've got it. We're going to go to the upper Midwest right now with our next winter storm coming in. Iris is heading into places like Duluth, Minnesota. And as we look out over the aerial lift bridge right now, you got to notice that your temperature is not below zero. That's a change. We've been sub-zero for days, right? Every single night. Now we're at 12, so we have warmed up, but of course it's still cold enough to snow. So when the next system comes in, we've got snow. Iris making its way in later today, and a couple of inches all across Minnesota, North Dakota, parts of South Dakota. Duluth, we could get about 3 to 5, and there's going to be a stripe of snow, we think, stretching from Minnesota into Wisconsin, 5 to 8 inches of snow, especially across the northern part of Wisconsin. Here's what it is right now, and we're going to see that snow, that arm of snow, kind of sweep in through the rest of the Midwest today. A lot of moisture coming into this area. You can see really just the overspreading of our flow coming in from the southwest. So the moisture coming on in to the area, a little disturbance punching into at the upper levels. You'll see that dive down out of Canada. And so that'll help get things going today. A warm front actually in place will help our temperatures warm up a little bit, although still cold enough to snow to kick things off here in Minnesota, into maybe even Iowa, and certainly into Wisconsin as well. But that's going to also help draw up those southerly winds, draw up moisture from the south. So we've got moisture coming from two places. That's how we're going to get that 5 to 8 inches of snow across northern parts of Wisconsin. And to time it out for you, the morning commute just fine. Lunchtime snow comes in. It may be out of here by the evening commute. We'll see Minneapolis, but then overnight tonight, round 2 comes in. And now we've got that chance for maybe a wintry mix out there. And actually across lower Michigan, we warm up enough that we're going to have round 2 coming in as rain. So Detroit, get ready for a start of snow, but then ending with some rain by tomorrow. All right, let's go south because, Kelly, it was so cold. Dallas had our coldest temperature in, 6 years? And Winter Storm Iris. Lake effect has been helping us out, too, though, with in the snowfall department. All right, so we track what's coming next. We just showed you what was happening in the Midwest with Iris. When it gets into the Northeast, it gets actually a little more complicated. We do have a widespread kind of 3 to 5 inch snowfall across Pennsylvania, New York State. The lake effect will kick into, and that'll add a little more to the Tug Hill Plateau. But wait to see how things play out for us and the way we will get our precipitation. So by tomorrow, as the system starts to track in and actually temperatures start to warm up, look at Chicago in rain, look at Detroit in a wintry mix, changing over to rain. Actually, Cleveland, you'll do the same thing. Wintry mix changing over to rain. Syracuse will start with snow, but then we too are going to change over to wintry mix. It's possible we see sleet. It's possible we see freezing rain, changing over to rain after that because temperatures warm up. So State College, Pennsylvania, this is how our forecast works out. Starting as snow, temperatures in the 20s tomorrow. Then overnight, temperatures are still in the upper 20s, but the trend is up by the morning. Actually, you're going to see those temperatures going up. We'll eventually change over to rain, although you'll spend some time in a wintry mix, perhaps freezing rain, which will be tough for travel. Albany, New York, same thing. It's overnight Tuesday that you're going to have a period of time where travel is tough. You know, elevated surfaces that might be at freezing, you'll have to worry about that. But temperatures temperatures will start tracking up overnight, and by morning, your commute might just be wet, and we're going up to nearly 50 by the time we get into Wednesday. Boston, for us, it's all rain. So next system comes in, no snow for us, just rain, which will start, but we are finally going above freezing today, something we haven't done in about 4 days. So this is a big deal, Nashville. Our temperatures going to right near average, 43 degrees today, and then after that, we're just going up. We have an upward trend when our temperatures close to 70 by the end of the week, believe it or not. Hard to imagine when you're 23 degrees right now in Nashville. 10 in Raleigh. It's very chilly all the way down to Florida. 31 in Jacksonville. Was just checking out some of the ops here in the Florida Panhandle because we saw another picture of a frozen fountain in Defuniak Springs, Florida. Crestview, you're 21 degrees right now. Down to Tallahassee, you're in the 30s. It's a little warmer right on the coast, but other than that, very chilly morning. But the afternoon gets better, and each day this week, it gets a little bit better. So, in fact, it gets maybe too warm for some of you if you like the chill. We've got a ridge taking over our jet stream pattern. Temperatures warm up. Temperatures tomorrow go into the 50s in Nashville and Atlanta and Raleigh. We're finally able to thaw out there across central North Carolina, across the Piedmont. 60s in Charleston, Tallahassee, you're in the 60s. And really, our temperatures go up from there. We're going to be near 70, 72 in Montgomery, 66 in Atlanta, and even Raleigh. We'll get to the 60s this week. Good Monday, everyone. We throw the maps on the floor just as you get ready to go to work. Maybe. Still some snow days out there today. Still iced over, yes. And just as that ice is still going on in the east, we've got Winter Storm Iris coming into the Midwest. We'll track that snow. And then look what happens to the cold in the east. It disappears underneath a lot of warmth. Temperatures go to the 60s and 70s. Way to see these numbers. Plus, in the west, we continue our story here with the atmospheric river events that we have. Kelly, the feet of snow in the forecast. I know it's high up there, but I saw 6 to 8 feet. And then I do the mountains. Don, good to have you on the show. Thanks for joining us this morning. And you're in Tampa. So I know it's a little chilly this morning. Talk about that and about the rain you got over the weekend championship there. All right, let's talk about the field. So you did have some thunderstorms over the weekend. Do you think that affected the field playing conditions at all? And I know last year going into the championship, the team had a lot of weather that they had to go through. How did this season compare? Thank you so much. The voice of Clemson football. Good luck tonight. Have a great record. You get at least, flurries in March. Going back every single year for weather records. However, it is a warm pattern getting into the first 10 days of March. We do start with below average, and that's what we're dealing with today from the Northeast back to the Midwest. Temperatures going to run below average. Even the South, Atlanta, we should be about 60, 58 degrees is where you'll be, and that's the case in Nashville and Charlotte and in Charleston, where you've got your wine and food festival this weekend. A little cool to start your mornings, but gorgeous afternoons with a lot of sunshine. Now, watch what happens though. As we get Friday into Saturday, two things are changing. One, in the west, we start to bring our next big system in. The onslaught comes in with even some thunderstorms possible in Seattle. Plus, we bring rain back up here into Texas. Not necessarily thunderstorms, but rain. In South Texas could see some heavy rain as we see the moisture return. A little piece of energy comes on in. Looking ahead to the east, cold day in New York City Saturday. It does stay pretty breezy right through the weekend. Even though it's not going to be as windy as yesterday, the winds will stay gusty. Very wintry feel. You'll probably see those stratocumulus clouds up there throughout the Midwest and Northeast right through the weekend. Temperatures start warming up in the middle of the nation. In the west, we get the rain that spreads all the way down the coast. The southeast brings in a few more clouds through the weekend. The peak keeps the rain out, though. Atlanta, 64 degrees, and it should be dry for NASCAR drivers. Kelly, with you all like week here temperature-wise. So here's Chicago. Our average is 50 for our high, and we'll be close to it. A little below today and tomorrow. We get to average on Wednesday, a little below on Thursday, and then actually above average by Friday. So it's pretty normal actually to be a little bit above and below. Nobody's ever just exactly average. Here's a look at the pattern going into this week. So yes, we're a little cool to start like we've seen over the Northeast this weekend, but things sort of balance out as we see our jet stream take more of a zonal pattern. So temperatures right now in the 20s and 30s. We're going to see highs today in the mid-40s pretty much everywhere. Again, not that far from average, close to it. Tonight, temperatures dipping down to about the freezing mark in Chicago. And then by tomorrow, again, we're a smidge below average, but not much below. So this won't be any, I think, big notable temperature week. You got to watch the systems coming through, which we'll talk about, because midweek we got one coming through. End of the week, we got another one coming through. And really, the temperature is going to help decide what kind of precip you get here. And Steph, it actually could be
records. We shattered them.
Yes.
Over the weekend.
We did. And we set some records that haven't been set in a long time. So So first of all, we had about 3 dozen record lows that were set this last Saturday morning. And for a place like D.C., we haven't set a record low in the month of November in 41 years. So it was significant, the fact that we actually just set a record. The numbers were cold, 23 in Boston. We were down to Pittsburgh, 17 degrees. And again, we tied that record in D.C. New York City, too, actually set back-to-back records both Friday and Saturday morning. And that was the first time that's happened in 23 years. So, yeah, it's been notable. 29 degrees, but as Steph talked about, with the sun, it wasn't quite as bad as these numbers might make you think. Gosh, nothing worse than a Monday than rain on a Monday, right? And that's what we're getting. Heading off to the airport this morning, there will be some delays. You saw those scenes in the Northeast. It's not necessarily the rain that actually causes the delay, but the low clouds, and we've got that hanging on for a while into the north and east. So that's going to be one area to watch. The Northwest actually expecting delays today in Seattle. We have quite the windstorm that is literally blowing in here today, so get ready for that. Boston, moderate delays for you. Newark expected. Baltimore, at least some. Raleigh, you've got the chance for some delays as well with those low clouds this morning. And then Seattle, wind and rain, Steph, here. And then that sort of sets the stage for the next couple of systems this week.
I mean,
we may get thunderstorms out of that with the warm up ahead of it. You know, we often focus this time of year if you're cold enough to snow. Well, how about warm enough to get thunder? That's going to be something we look at. Boston, for us right now, it's a murky, rainy day, so don't worry about your right now weather when you think ahead to the rest of the week. We got to look ahead to temperatures and what kind of type of moisture or precipitation you're going to get. So here is a look at your midweek. This is Thursday night. So again, first system comes through. That one's a pretty weak one. This is that second system Steph was talking about. There could be a wintry mix up here across northern parts of Minnesota and Wisconsin. Then on Friday, that pushes east. Ahead of it, there's going to be enough warm air and dew points are coming back that we could see thunderstorms. It's possible we even see severe weather. Shear is medium, lift is medium, instability is medium, moisture is low, but I think there might be enough. So don't be surprised if in November you get some rumbles of thunder. That could happen into Friday. Then by Friday night, the system pushes into the northeast, and now your temperatures really matter up here because we may get freezing rain. That is a real possibility considering it's overnight. The timing is tough. Looking at that risk for freezing rain lingering into Saturday as well. Boston, maybe not you per se, but in the Mass Pike, traveling. We are getting into holiday travel starting this weekend, so get ready for a tough travel forecast. The rainfall could be heavy at times, 1 to 2 inches, especially across parts of the Midwest, about an inch across the east. And when we look at Chicago, it's warm enough that it's rain and actually possibly thunderstorms. But a place like Burlington, Vermont, we've got the chance for icy conditions. Travelers, heads up, coming up on Saturday.
All right, Chris,
we're going to see the most delays today. We're getting into that busy holiday travel time where every day the planes are a little more crowded. The weather can create a hassle and a stress for you. If you're traveling and going through security creates a stress as well. Know that TSA is making a bit of changes, or at least maybe they're standardizing a little bit their pat-down procedures. So screening alarms go off. Part of their random security measures, there may be enhanced screening, and even people going through TSA pre may receive a pat-down. So heads up on that. At the airports today, we've got some weather delays expected, possibly in Boston and Newark, very likely in Seattle. A lot of wind, already some power outages, Steph. I worry about people's alarm not going off and they don't get up in time to go to
these travel